Good morning, everybody. I don't know what my last video was I posted. I know it's been a while. I don't even know if I've updated you on why I haven't been posting videos. So I'll just update you now. About a month and a half ago, I had a foot infection that got real bad. And when I say real bad, I don't mean it just was an infection. It was so bad that it actually put me into diabetic ketoacidosis. I laid on my couch, not eating, hardly able to take in any liquids for about a week. Finally, I called the ambulance and went to the hospital. And then they life-flighted me from that hospital to another hospital that was about 100 miles away. I was, according to my wife, a gray color, as in my skin tone was gray. So I was really close to death. And I only spent a few hours in the first hospital, and then I spent a week in the next hospital, well, 5 days. When they got me there, they pumped me full of fluids, as they do. They did all their tests. This is Guthrie Hospital, by the way. It's called Robert Packer out in Sayre. The reason why I'm naming them is because I owe them my life. So basically they got it to where I was stable enough, and then they threw me they did their tests to make sure that everything was going to be okay for an operation. They figured out that I had gangrene on my foot, the top and bottom, and that there was no saving it. So they amputated my foot just above the ankle. And then a couple of days later, they revised that surgery. They cut more off to make sure they could close it up properly. And that leaves me with about, 6 to 8 inches of leg below the knee. I've healed up pretty nice, and this is my second time going back since I left the hospital. The first time they took staples out and some of the stitches. This time they should pull the rest of the stitches, hopefully. So now you're all caught up. Basically, life's been a pain in the butt. I would like to make sure that everybody knows that if you have any sort of problems with diabetes and you just need somebody to talk to, comment below. If you are afraid you're facing amputation of any sort, comment below. I can explain to you how you can work through it. I myself, as soon as I got out of the operation and woke up, the nurse comes in and she says, "How are you doing?" And I said, "I'm okay, but it seems like my foot disappeared." And she just looked at me, and I grinted at her, and she says, "I've never had anybody go through an amputation that would make a joke like that. I love it." I said, "Well, facing the facts early on is usually the best bet. It was either my life or my leg. I choose life. And I want everybody to realize that. It sucks to go without a part of your body that you've had for 40 some years, or how many ever you've been alive. It sucks. But don't let it weigh you down. It's going to be a total pain in the ass for a couple days, couple weeks. But you can overcome the loss of a limb. And you should overcome the loss of a limb. Don't let it weigh you down and ruin the rest of your life. It's not worth it. Believe it or not, the moment you lose a limb, the rest of the world becomes more friendly and more polite, and is more helpful than before you lose that limb. The loss of my limb brought out the niceness, that sounded stupid, but I don't care. Brought out the nicest of side of people at stores. People I don't know. I mean, I've seen them before, I've walked by them before, but they see me struggling and they offer to help. Now that is a good thing. If people can be a little friendlier because you're missing a limb, don't automatically assume they're pitying you. They're not pitying you. They're being nice. They're trying to make sure you're safe. It's not about pity. It's about acknowledging that you've had a traumatic event in your life and they want to make sure you can safely navigate through the store or wherever it is you've come across them. And don't hesitate if you're losing, going through this stuff to tell people your story. Don't make it, a sad story. Don't make it all about trying to upset people or make them feel bad for you. But try to help people to see that life can be great if you choose to be. If you choose it to be. I'm having a rough day. I'm dealing with low blood sugar today. And I never used to have to worry about that. See, the ketoacidosis that I went through that almost killed me may have actually been something that changed my body enough so that my blood sugars don't run so high. Before that, my blood sugar was running almost 400 constantly, 300 to 400 constantly, no matter what I did, even with insulins. But after the diabetic ketoacidosis and almost death, it now runs at an average of somewhere 100 to 250. Occasionally it jumps higher, but not very often. And the last 5 days, 6 days, pretty much every day, at least once a day, I've hit almost or low blood sugars. When I say almost, that's 80s. 80s for me is really low. Granted, that's normal for the average person, but my body's not used to it, so I get the shakes and the rapid heartbeat and sometimes the sweating that comes with it from low blood sugar, even if it's not low. I started feeling it the first day and I was at like 67 or 69, which is just barely low. And it took me an hour to get rid of those symptoms of low blood sugar because I was taking in a couple of sips of regular soda just to jack my sugar back up to above the low range, and it wasn't working. Yes, I'm taking insulin. I'm taking small amounts of insulin right now. Like I take slow acting, as my doctor prescribes it, once in the morning and once in the evening because it's 60 units and he says it's too much for the body to absorb in one shot. So I take 30 each time and it seems to really be working. And then the fast acting, I got to do my 14 units with every meal. And there's also sliding scales, so that means if it's high, like if say it's above 200, 250, 300, somewhere in there, then I add a few extra units according to the chart. Now I'm only explaining all this because somebody out there might be fighting the same stupid battle I was and getting nowhere. And I know damn well we all need just somebody else to be on our side, especially when you're diabetic and you're struggling with super high blood sugars and all that crap. I don't want to have to see anybody go into diabetic ketoacidosis and almost die. And I really don't want to have to see anybody else lose limbs, but diabetes sucks. And sometimes we all need to just step up and help each other out, especially with these horrible illnesses like diabetes. So if you're facing amputation, or you're struggling with your blood sugar, or you just facing all sorts of problems and complications of health, even if it's not something I face, you can talk to me about it. You can comment, and we'll see what we can do, even if I gotta go help you out by searching for answers for you. If I can do it, I will. Now, my phone is a piece of crap. I have no money, so I can't really see what kind of videos I put up recently, because my phone's just a pain in the butt. And quite frankly, I'm not too pleased with the cell carrier that I'm with. It's a government free phone. Through this pandemic, I got one, and it's been a pain in my butt. So, for any of you out there that are struggling with the problems, or one or all of the problems that I'm dealing with on a day-to-day basis, I hope you gain control, and I hope you whoop its ass and get the upper hand. I think I finally am getting somewhere with my diabetes that, like I said, questions, comments, thoughts, just somebody that wants to talk about one of them or anything, please comment below. You guys have just a wonderful day. Thank you for following along.